Alright guys, we have a lot to talk about in today's video, so buckle down and get ready to rock and roll because we're going to talk about the 2019 Legendary Farming Guide for Galaxy of Heroes. We made this video last time in August 2018. I'm glad you guys liked it so much. It was the one true path to unlocking legendary and journey-based things. There was such a logical progression, and usually if you're trying to be the best player in the game, this is what you want to chase after and farm because legendary and journey-based characters, all of these characters I marked on the screen right now, these are the most important characters by and large in Galaxy of Heroes. This is what you got to chase after if you want to be some of the very best in the game. But since August 2018, things have changed drastically. We went from 7 legendary and journey events to 14 from August 2018 to May 2019. So we have a lot of updating that we have to do in this video today. So let's just get right into it and talk about it. And I'm not going to go into complete depth on what was talked about in August 2018. There's a card in the top right hand corner if you want more depth, but I'm going to give you the brief overview on what was talked about before because it's still a cornerstone path that is very important for the rest of the progression we're going to take here. So one thing that has stood the test of time in the past several months, despite all these new things added to the game, is the Phoenix is the best place to start for brand new players who are just starting off in the game, or if you're just someone wandering in the wilderness and that hasn't really focused on anything in particular. Phoenix is a great place to go after because they're a super free-to-play farmable team early on in the game, and the cool thing about them is that they're first of all a great team to introduce you to team synergies and whatnot, get you familiar with the game, but besides that, in terms of legendary content, they lead you right into 2 Empire legendary events right away. Emperor Palpatine needs 5 Rebels, and Grand Admiral Thrawn needs 5 Phoenix characters. So the Phoenix Squadron right here, which I recommend Hera, Kanan, Ezra, Zeb, and Chopper, that leads you into 2 legendaries right away. And as I showed before, Emperor Palpatine and Thrawn, they're 2 Empire characters, which leads you into R2D2. So all you have to do is find 3 other Empire characters, and I gave you some recommendations in that last video, such as TIE Pilot, Grand Moff Tarkin, and Darth Vader. And then once you have R2D2 and the New Hope crew, you can get Commander Luke Skywalker, who is still a very important character. Commander Luke is about the 5th best character, or 5th best team in the game. So that right there is the most logical thing that still holds true to this day. And then the Phoenix leads you into Grandmaster Yoda because you got 2 Jedi. You just got to farm 3 other ones. And then with the Phoenix as well, they help you get the Chimera because you need the Phoenix ships and Rebel ships to get the Chimera. So right there, the Phoenix is still the core path to take if you're just starting off in the game or you need some direction. So that's pretty much the quick bullet point summary of the August 2018 video. If you want more detail, click on the card in the top right hand corner again. But what we're going to do now is talk about everything that's happened since August 2018 and build upon the guide since then. And I don't have time to make the same fancy graphics as before because that took me 48 hours to make the graphics before. So what we're actually going to do is use this beautiful template created by Ninja Gamer 1337. I'll leave a link down below in the video description. Please give this guy an upvote, as well as you'll have access to the picture to what we're going to be talking about now. So since 2018, I gotta say there's going to be a bit of an alteration to the farming path they're going to take. I don't think it's going to be Phoenix to Empire to R2 to Commander Luke Skywalker anymore. I think it's going to be Phoenix, which unlocks your 2 Empire legendaries. But what I recommend you try to do as early as possible, your next project after the Phoenix should be going after the Old Republic, some of the most important content in the game. Now you have a choice. You could go after Darth Revan or Jedi Revan, but I highly recommend you make your next priority after the Phoenix going after Jedi Knight Revan. Yes, Darth Revan is a better character for Arena over Jedi Knight Revan, but Jedi Knight Revan is still the 4th or 5th best team in Galaxy of Heroes, and he's a better all around. He's better in all the raids. He's very useful in Territories, Grand Arena, and he's still amazing in Arena. He's one of the things that can kind of beat Darth Revan. So Jedi Knight Revan, I think for beginner players, it's tough news to swallow. I know they're not as easily farmable as the Phoenix, but once you have access to the hard nodes, take your time, farm these guys, and then once you get Jedi Knight Revan, you're going to thank me that you got Jedi Knight Revan as early as possible because you're going to see a night and day difference in your arena payout, which means more crystals, more characters you're able to farm, more energy refreshes, more characters you can gear up. So I think Jedi Knight Revan is a logical place to go as early as possible in the game. Now, assuming you take my advice and after you get Phoenix, you go after Jedi Knight Revan, I recommend you start looking at the other Revan, Darth Revan. He is the best thing in the game right now, and yes, it was pay to play the first time the event came out, but for future people coming into the game knowing this event is here, you can start easily planning ahead and farming for Darth Revan, for HK-47, Juhani, Karthanasi, Candace Ordo, and Darkseid Bastila Shan Follett. And if you get Darth Revan, once you have Darth Revan and Jedi Revan, that leads you over to Darth Malak. But a huge note I have to make here, one thing nice about the Jedi Knight Revan event and Darth Revan event is you really don't need to have these characters crazily geared high. You can actually swing by with a fairly low gear threshold, but for the Darth Malak event, you're pretty much forced to have a bunch of gear 12s or gear 11s with Zetas, basically. So if you don't think you could do gear 11s with Zetas or get gear 12, you're gonna have to put Darth Malak on standby until you can start getting these older public characters up to gear 12. So assuming you can get gear 12s, go straight for Malak right away so you can have one of the most dominant characters in the game. But if you don't have these guys at gear 12 and you can't get Darth Malak, we're now going to talk about the rest of the farming guide here. What I'm going to start recommending is now you pick up where we technically left off in the original farming path that we took at the very beginning. So once you have Jedi Knight Revan, you're going to have Jolie, Bastila Shan. If you have the Phoenix, you're going to have Ezra and Kanan. So that means you can easily unlock Grandmaster Yoda at this point. Before, I was recommending you just farm some random Jedi, which you might not want to do. You'd rather farm Jedi that are great in the game that you're going to use all the time versus farming characters like Qui-Gon Jinn, who really don't have a purpose in the game right now. And then with your Empire characters you have, you can start getting the other free-to-play Empire characters such as Tarkin, Vader, TIE Pilot, which leads you to R2-D2, which then leads you to Commander Luke Skywalker. So we're kind of changing the path a bit, but still it's just a little intermission going from the Phoenix over to the older public and then going back over to the original farming guide that took place over here. So that's kind of the main change that you guys can keep in mind. I think that's really the place you got to go, and really from there you start having all these isolated legendary events that are really not tied to any of this core that we talked about in the middle here. But what I'm going to recommend for you guys is, since you have Commander Luke Skywalker at this point, what I highly recommend you guys do is start trying to build upon the Commander Luke Skywalker team, because Commander Luke, the reason why he's like the 5th or 6th or 4th best team in the game, however you want to argue it, is because of the fact of C-3PO and Chewbacca. So I think it's really smart to build upon the Commander Luke Skywalker team, and I would first recommend starting to go after Chewbacca, because of Chewbacca, he's going to be a fantastic character. He's a plug-and-play character for a variety of things, and he's going to be needed for the Han's Millennium Falcon. I like giving you guys paths that have multiple layers to it. With the Bounty Hunters, it leads to the Bounty Hunter ships, which leads to the Millennium Falcons. But if you're very serious about ships, chasing after Han's Millennium Falcon is going to be crucial, because it pairs well with the Rebel ships I recommended you guys briefly in this video and more in depth in the previous August 2018 video. If you can add your Han's Falcon to this Rebel fleet, you then have the most dominant fleet in the game right now. Akbar and the Millennium Falcon they own the fleet arena right now. So that right there is another reason why you might want to try to go straight after the Millennium Falcon after the Bounty Hunters. The next thing we're going to recommend, kind of building upon the notion you want a very good Commander Luke team, start going after C-3PO, which requires the Ewoks. Again, very detached from all the other stuff we talked about earlier, but obviously the ideal team to shoot for is going to be Chief Sherpa, Ewok Elder, Logray, Pablo Escobar, and Wicked. Those are the characters to shoot for right there. Once you go from Commander Luke Skywalker to Chewbacca to C-3PO, and I'm assuming you have Han Solo, you now have a very powerful team in your roster, and I'm guessing at this point you're going to have Jedi Knight Revan, you're going to have a Phoenix team, you're going to have an Empire team, and you're going to have a Commander Luke Skywalker team, and maybe a Darth Revan team if you decide to go after the other older public stuff. So right there, a lot of powerful teams in your roster, and that really only leaves us to two other things. I'm probably going to recommend that you go after Jedi Training Rey first before we go after Padme Amidala. Of course, this could change if Padme Amidala is needed for something major down the road, which I speculate is probably going to be a hero's fall journey for Anakin Skywalker perhaps, but that's all speculation at this point. But with Jedi Training Rey, she's fantastic. She can solo the AAT raid. She might not be really a top 10 team anymore in the game, but she's still a solid team to have in your roster for Grand Arena Territories, and especially for the Sith raid, which she's the best for Phase 1, and the AAT raid. And as I said before, I'm not going to go in depth for my August 2018 guide, but First Order, these are ideally the First Order characters you want to shoot for, which gives you BB-8. You have to farm the rest of these guys, Rey, Finn, all the vets right here, which gets you Jedi Training Rey. And really the only thing we have left to talk about is Padme Amidala. Now her event is just coming to a close at the time of this video, and one of the major things to point out now is at the time of this video, we don't have the Count Dooku reworks, we don't have the new Gunner reworks, and we don't have the Geonosian reworks just yet, but in the future, you will have more great separatists to kind of dip into, whereas now the only reworked characters we have were the separatist droid. So going further, you're gonna have so many more options for the separatists, but right now what you're seeing on the screen is the best ideal team to run for the Padme event. Grievous, especially his Zeta and Metaloid monstrosity, if you can swing it. Asajj, B2, Count Dooku, and Magna Guard. I've shown this with the Sun Fac, for example, but in the future you have a lot more variety to kind of choose from depending on what characters you like the most to get Padme Amidala. But for right now, we're just gonna assume there's no reworks coming, even though they are, and this is gonna be the best team you want to shoot for to get Padme. And who knows, later on in the year, Padme Amidala might become way more important in terms of branching off into other legendary-based content. Padme Amidala right now is going to be probably your second or third best team overall in the game for PvP type of things, but I'm trying to keep you guys on more logical paths, the things that build upon each other. And right now, Padme doesn't really build upon much, but I'm guessing in the future, if you notice, there's layers to a variety of things that we like. First Order builds the Jedi Training Ray, Phoenix builds to all this stuff, Old Republic builds all the way to Darth Malak, and this is where we kind of have nothing building upon it yet. So I'm thinking in the future, Padme is going to lead into more stuff down the road. And that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this video is somewhat helpful, kind of like the August 2018 one. I know there's so much stuff in the game to focus on, but if you just stick to a plan and just go by it, you're going to notice significant improvement in your gameplay in Galaxy of Heroes. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Ninja Gamer, for creating an amazing guide, so it saved me many hours of composing another fancy graphics. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and we'll talk again very soon, guys. Peace out.
Yeah. Party Richter, Party Richter. Get down, 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 down. Party Richter, Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter, Party Richter. Get down.